April 15th, I'm going to read from another screen. 2021 Town of Concord Historic Districts Commission meeting. Welcome again. I'm calling the meeting to order at 7 o'clock or 7:04. Tonight we have 2 continued hearings and we'll open 5 new public hearings. We have a little bit of additional business at the end, which we always gauge depending on people's exhaustion level. Let me do a quick roll call of the committee. I see Dennis Fiore. Just say aye when I say
Here, yep.
Luis Beres
Aye.
Beitia, Abby Flanagan,
Here.
and Melinda Shumway,
Here.
Kate Chartner.
Here.
And did I get everybody? I got everybody. And Jane Hotchkiss from the select board is here. Hi, Jane. So in accordance with
Happily
Commonwealth-
here.
Yes, thank you. And Heather Gill, our esteemed master of ceremonies, I would say. In accordance with Commonwealth of Mass Executive Order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law, we are conducting this meeting online to ensure both public access and deliberation to the deliberations. Public may call through the telephone. You have to raise your hand by using #9. I don't know if anybody's just calling in, or *9, sorry. You will have a chance to ask questions, to provide comment on applications following the petitioner's presentation and questions from the commission. To do so, just raise your hand or again, use *9 or just wave at us. You can use the raise your hand in the participants function. Heather may need to mute or we'll probably mute everybody who's not speaking. If we don't, if you would do us the favor, do that please yourselves. We may need to turn off video if the bandwidth gets wonky. I will then call on each commissioner for comments on an application, then open the meeting for public comment. Once there are no more public comments, I'll ask for a motion from the commission to approve, continue, approve the conditions or disapprove, a second and a roll call vote. And then once we've acted on your application, you are free to go. So that's my usual spiel. Welcome again, everybody. And Heather, if we have no other official starting business, I think we can probably get going, yes? Thank you. We all met Heather's daughter this morning at our site visits. By the way, she was very cute. I just want to point out that the commission apparently contributed to the 21st century baby carriage that we met your daughter in. So
Very nice.
I had no idea what it looked like. All right, well, let's start with 155 Monument Street. Martha's here. Martha, thank you again for meeting us on site this morning.
You're welcome, Peter.
This is a continued hearing for some alterations to your lovely home. Front entrance, new porch, replacement of windows and doors. I think there were 5 or 6 of us or maybe more there this morning. And I think commissioners, maybe Heather, could you put up the elevations? Maybe that's probably the best thing to look at in case people want a reference point. I thought we had a successful site visit. We were only there about 15 minutes. I don't think we need, Martha, I don't think we need you or Marshall or anybody else to walk us through the presentation. Why don't I go around to the commissioners and see if there are any comments? Would you mind, or do you have any?
No, I don't mind at all.
All right, I'm just going in the order on my screen, if you all don't mind. Dennis, you're first on my screen. Any thoughts?
No, I thought the presentation was very good. I think this has evolved nicely. I think I heard all that I wanted to hear, and it was positive. So I think this restoration back to arts and crafts is a great idea.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis. Luis.
I echo Dennis. I didn't find any objection or any observation I could make. I just want to remind the applicant that there are the utilities that I think that she dislikes as much as anybody else, and that that they should be framed with some vegetation so they can be seen, because otherwise it's a very good project.
Yes, we will definitely do that, Luis.
Thank you, Luis. Abigail.
Heather, could you just pull up the cut sheets on the exterior light fixtures, the one by the front door and the one between the garage doors? I just wanted to double check. Yeah, so they're dark sky compliant. Do you know the wattage and the kelvins on these?
Does it say it on the sheet that I included?
260.
There is not one by the front door.
Oh, there's no light fixture there. I
No,
thought there was.
there's no light fixture.
Okay. So the only exterior light fixture that's being added is between the garage doors.
Yes,
Okay.
I think there's
And-
a recessed one in the porch.
Yeah, so there's a
in the ceiling.
recessed ceiling above the door to the garage and the front door.
No, there won't be any in the roof. Are you talking about the roof line over the garage doors?
Yeah,
No, there won't be any there. There'll just be that one light.
okay. And you're removing the floodlights that are currently there.
Well, we'll probably replace them with something a little smaller, but we would probably need to light up the driveway in the
Yeah,
back.
okay.
Yeah.
So I would just ask that whatever fixture you choose to replace, you have an existing floodlight, so you're entitled to replace it in kind. I would just ask that you submit, if you choose to do that, you submit that fixture to Heather, and that it's
Okay.
of no greater wattage than what's currently there.
Yeah, definitely.
Other than that, I didn't have any issue with the application. I think it's appropriate. I think it's in keeping with the architectural style of the house. I think it'll be an improvement. It'll make it more cohesive. So I'm happy to support the application.
Oh, thank you, Abby.
Thank you, Abby. Melinda,
I am in agreement. I like the design. I look forward to seeing it implemented. I think you'll love it when it's done, and I have no objections at all.
Thank you, Melinda.
thanks, Melinda. Catherine, I see you've joined us.
I
Welcome.
have.
Thank you. Any thoughts, comments?
It was a great site visit, and I really appreciated just being able to look at not only the elevations, but the details, like the fact that the molding trim
Mm.
around the windows will be replicated, that original trim, which was just a nice detail. So thank you for pointing that out. And I agree with my fellow commissioners. I think the improvements are going to be excellent, and will ultimately make the house feel much more cohesive and integrated. So, and I think it looks great.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay. Thank you, Catherine. Kate, I see you there. I know you weren't able to join us this morning. Do you have any thoughts about the application?
Yeah, I mean, I did go by later on, but I'm familiar with the property. I go past it a lot. And I think I agree with my commissioners. I think these revisions look great. I know you've spent a lot of time on this, Martha, and we appreciate where you've taken it to, and it's going to look really good.
Thank you. We will make it as beautiful as possible.
Let's see. I think I got everybody. I think I would only add that it actually, I was sort of surprised. Now, of course, I know Ramsey a little bit, but it actually does do a nice job of trying to tie the house back together into this more arts and crafts approach. So I really commend the designer in this case as
Yes,
well.
he's very good with details,
Yeah,
the little details.
Thank you for sticking with him.
Oh, no problem.
He's done a great job. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
I think we can at this point open it up to public comment. So is there any public comment on the proposed work at 155 Monument Street? And I'm gonna look around. I can't see everybody here. Heather, do you see any raised hands? Don't see any. I see a lot of tumbleweeds. All right, so let's bring it back to the commission. And I would look for a motion, please.
I move that we approve the application of 155 Monument Street, restore the original open porch at the front entrance, remove gutters, replace the front steps, replace windows, replace garage door, replace the front and back doors, paint the house, and with the caveat that the utilities in the south facade of the house will be covered with vegetation, and that the wattage of the light fixtures will not exceed what currently exists.
And can I get a second on that? Melinda, you second?
A second.
All right. I'll go around. All in favor. Let me just go in reverse order. Kate,
Yes.
you're an aye.
Yep.
Catherine,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
Luis,
Aye.
Abigail,
Aye.
Melinda.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. So it's unanimously approved. And Martha, you're good to go. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Okay, you're welcome.
And good luck with the work. And we'll look forward to seeing it.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Be well.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right. And Marshall, I apologize for calling you the architect of that last project. I'm not sure. I think I saw you and just assumed you were the architect of every project on Monument Street. So, sorry about that. Speaking of Marshall, our next application in 98 Monument Street, this is the Thoreau family. And I think Adam is joining us. This is a certificate of appropriateness to demolish and reconstruct the center section of the house with a one-story addition on one side, a new shed dormer, new garage entry roof, and replacing windows. So we had a site visit this morning, same crew. I think we had no open questions. We had a very nice tour. Marshall, thank you again for being there with Melanie, who I understand is on her way to join you, Adam, but not
Thanks, Marshall.
there yet.
Sure.
So again, maybe Heather, if you wouldn't mind putting up I think the thing to put up is the proposed schematic. There you go. Okay. And maybe if you could scroll down to the 3D model views, because that's what we were sort of looking at in the courtyard. I'd keep going, if you wouldn't mind, down to there you go. All right, so why don't I go around by commissioner again and see if there's any particular comment. So one thing I would say, starting off, I looked at these later and I was pleased to recognize that the roof, the top of the ridge of the center section actually does land below the ridge of the front of the house. I was a little worried that was going to be different, and so my one fear was erased. So let me start with Melinda.
Okay. So everything was fine to me until the very end, when I guess I wasn't, I was not sure what they meant by this, but there are 2 chimneys or are there 3 chimneys on this house?
There are 3. There are 2 that you see in this view here, and there's a third on the back side.
And the one on the other side is the one that, when you said you would try and save it.
Well, we will do our best to save it. That whole what it's built next to, that 2-story master bedroom wing is coming down. So, and there will be the intent is to save it. Yes.
If it gets damaged, excuse me, sorry, in the process, I will intend to just replicate what was there. So it's not going away.
Okay.
Yes, because it feeds a working fireplace in our office.
I see. Okay. That's the only question I had.
Thank you, Melinda. Abigail.
So that was one of my questions. On the court side, I'm calling it the courtyard side. You have one roof that's being built over the garage door. Not the garage doors, but the door to the garage.
Correct.
I assume is there a recessed light in that?
There is a lamp that's not in the drawing to the right of that door that's currently there that can remain there during this process.
Okay. Are there any other, I didn't see any other cut sheets for exterior lights or anything like that. Is there any other changes to exterior lighting being made?
The intent is to save and reinstall the fixtures. And there's a fixture between the 2 sliders that's kind of a jelly jar with a little shade over the top. Black thing. I could show you. I have a photograph if you would like to see it. I could share my screen. But
those are just remaining. You're not
Yes, but we'll take them down and we'll put them back up. Yeah, you
Okay.
can see it right there in the photographs, right?
Okay,
And there's one by the same is also at the corner of the house by the lone door, by the bay window.
yep,
And that will just be removed, thrown in the garage during the construction and put back on.
okay. So those are the only exterior lights.
Actually, that one doesn't need to be removed. I apologize, because
Right.
that's not getting touched over there. Yeah.
Okay. So then my other concern, the site visit was very helpful. I think it clarified the roof lines for me, which I had originally had a concern with, like Peter, that it was going to be higher, more visible. So that concern was allayed. I do have a concern about the windows, particularly, and Dennis is our window expert, so I will defer to him. But my particular area of concern is the windows on the study, on the original part of the home. Those large, long windows that have kind of slightly wavy glass. I know
Yes.
your intent is to replace most of the windows for efficiency's sake, which I understand. We have old single pane windows in our house, and it is at times breezy in our house because of that. My preference for those windows would be that, particularly those long windows that appear to be much older than some of the other replacement windows on the house, that those would be restored rather than replaced.
I remember in the last meeting, you talked about ways in which to insulate around the window and improvements that can be made. And that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis can speak to this, but the restoration companies can make these, particularly those which are of such an unusual size and shape, and the glass is so interesting. They can restore a window in that condition to something that is incredibly tight and will provide, you with more efficiency. So,
right.
My preference would be that those windows be restored. I don't. Dennis might have thoughts about the other windows. Some of them are obviously newer. They've got the storms on things like that, and I don't.
But I don't like how they're covered right now.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
you want to see like the original feel.
I don't have any issue with those being replaced, but those on the study, I would like to see restored. Other than that, I didn't have any other concerns.
Thank you, Abigail. I'm just going to keep going in order on my screen. Luis, you are next on my rotation. Oh, you're muted though.
I'm sorry. Okay. I have a question about the windows. Do the current windows have a storm window? It's a question.
Yes, they do on the outside.
Okay, so if you were to replace these windows, you probably would not have a storm window. Is that
correct?
That
is correct.
Assumption?
That
okay.
is correct. Yeah.
So, and from that perspective, a window without a storm window certainly would look much more historical than a window that is restored with a storm window. Do we agree on that as well?
Are you asking the applicant? Or are you
I'm asking, you see, because maybe I'm asking the rest of the group to, maybe they can comment, because
it depends.
I have a concern with putting the windows that currently exist, bringing them back to life. If they're going to be restored, they need to be restored to a standard that it's the standard of the time of the house, and not the standard that those windows were placed, which probably was much more after the house was built. So I don't want to see a window restored that ends up with a storm window and so forth. So I would be inclined to replace the windows with windows that have exactly the same design standards and that look exactly the same, but don't have storm windows. I think that the storm window, for me, it's a deal breaker. That's the only comment I have.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Louise, to clarify, I don't think the windows on the study have storms, correct?
They have a glass panel going from top to bottom on the outside.
Okay, but they don't have the framed aluminum storms that.
No, not like that bulge out and are sort of so obviously afterthought. Yeah.
Well, the reason I'm mentioning this is because I actually did look at the windows, and these windows have something very nice. That, for example, the shutters are real shutters, and they are aligned in the correct direction when they are open.
Mhm.
So if you're going to change the windows, certainly you should not change the shutters, and you should keep them as working shutters. And I believe that that's probably what you're planning to do. But I looked at all the windows in the house, and I didn't see a window that could not be improved by taking them back to a time when they look more historically consistent than windows either with window panes or with actual storm windows, as some of those windows had. So that's the reason I reiterate what I just said before. Other than that, I think that this is a very big design. And the only other comment that I make, which is not negative in any way, is just to understand that the architectural changes that are being made to the addition that was placed before the barn was added will remove some of that disharmony that is so characteristic of the organic growth of houses from colonial and revolutionary times. But I don't see that as a drawback. It's just an observation. And other than that, I think that it's a very good design and very well implemented. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis.
Can I ask for just a clarification?
Yes, sure, go
on what
ahead.
Luis said about the windows. So if we replace any windows, they would be SDL windows, simulated divided light double pane windows. Is that, am I correct? I mean, is that what you're, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
I personally don't have any objection with modern windows. I understand that some members of the commission, and very rightly so, are concerned with windows that are historic, that may basically disappear, and that would not be something that I would endorse. But I don't see these windows as being true historic windows, because if any of these windows was truly historic from the time that the house was built, none of them would have storm windows or storm window devices.
I agree
So
with you. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes.
And that's the reason that I don't find a valid argument in saying that such and such window needs to be restored, because I don't believe that what we're restoring is to the original legitimate appearance of the house. I think that we're restoring to a moment of anachronism when a storm window or something similar to it was added to the house. So I don't want to restore to that. I want to restore it to the way it looked when it was built. And that's the reason I'm saying that I don't agree with the restoration of a window that it's not really original.
Okay.
So,
Actually, one thing I would say, Marshall, just to clarify, the thing that actually we tend to struggle with are screens, because, you know, a new window goes in and then sometimes it gets the black screen and then it changes the whole look of the house.
Sure.
So we always ask for the see-through mesh.
Right, the
or what
Invisa
have you.
screen, sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's fine. I'm on the side of the closer to historic beauty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, it's a little bit like hip replacement surgery. You know, if your hip fails and you need a new hip, you got to make it out of metal. You can't make it out of bone.
Titanium, actually.
I'm
And
talking,
definitely-
yeah, and I'm
definitely
thinking,
not wood.
I happen to know.
oh, really? Oh, no, I'm so sorry. All right, Luis, thank you. Dennis, any thoughts? But you have to unmute yourself. Nope, I can't hear you. Can't hear you. There you are.
Hear me now?
Yes.
I agree with what Abby said about this addition, which was a reasonably early addition, that those windows should be preserved. I believe it has a wooden frame storm on it. That's what it looked like that it had on it. The other windows, I have to admit, I did not take a close look, but if they're early windows, and who knows, as was pointed out, the house has been done over several times, then I would try to save them if at all possible, and maybe talk with the consultant about how to do that. I agree with Luis that the outside storm windows are not attractive and ruin the depth of the windows, but there are ways around that. My only other comment, and this one is sort of, I think maybe a bit odd. There's a little Gothic doorway that comes off where your new addition is going to the front courtyard. There's a little bump out that you're going to do. And there's this wonderful little Gothic door that's there. I think your wife mentioned that it's rotting, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's too bad that couldn't be removed over to this other side, because I think it has a certain amount of charm. And this door to the, well, as I look at it, to the left of it, doesn't have that kind of charm. And the thought might be, is there any way of reconstructing that over that door? And it also provides you with some coverage. I don't know how often you use it, going in and out. Not hard on that, but I think it would maintain some of the charm that's part of the history.
Yeah.
As far as the addition goes and what you're doing, it's been played with so many times. I can't get hung up about it. So.
And Adam, that's strictly a suggestion, because I actually don't think we can see that from the public way, the back.
No, you can't.
No, but I
So take it as
yeah, I
such.
appreciate it very much.
Strictly a suggestion.
Your lens is much better than mine, being new to the town.
Thank you, Dennis. Catherine,
So I happen to agree with Dennis, even though it is not within the public view. I did think that was a charming little feature. Otherwise, I think my fellow commissioners have hit pretty much on all of our previous concerns and key points. I was delighted to see that Marshall's design will definitely make actually the craziness of the roof lines, especially in the rear part of the house, a little cleaner and more cohesive. So I think the design is great, and I have no further comments.
thank you, Catherine. And Kate.
Hi there. I can echo Catherine on what she said.
Did you just get the award for brevity, Kate?
I tried to. Melinda usually gets it, so now I've just blown my lead because now I thought I'd give it a whirl. I don't know. It's
Okay,
hard.
well, thank you.
Harder
Didn't
than
know if you lost your feed there for a second. Thank you.
I would never
All right,
compete.
and I would only add that this is a lovely, I mean, this is on Monument Street. This is one of the most lovely sort of classic New England homes, and I think you're doing a great job keeping it as such.
Thank you. very much.
So we have no, I think, did I get all the commissioners? I think I did. So why don't we open it up to public comment? Is there any public comment on the application for work at 98 Monument Street? And look around. Let's see, do you see any hands, Heather? Let's see any hands. All right, we have a quiet group this evening. All right, then I'll bring it back and look for a motion from the commission, please. Don't all jump at once.
I
can't
move.
make
I'm
the
assuming
motion.
I'm a non-voting member, so I don't.
Well, oh, you know what? I didn't, hang on a sec. That's a good point. So the voting members this evening are, beside me, are Luis, Abigail, Melinda, and is the other person optional? Either Kate or Catherine or Dennis? Heather, is that right?
Yeah.
I think that's right. Well, Dennis, I've just promoted you to voting member, so you're a voting member. Catherine, Kate, I hope you don't mind. You got the last time.
I don't mind it one bit.
Okay.
All right, so the five of us will vote. Okay, sorry, Luis, you were making the motion.
Well, I move that we approve the application of 98 Monum Street to demolish the existing center section of the house between the main house and the rear garage / barn, reconstructed with a slightly higher roof line with a small one-story addition, and to add a new shed dormer to the rear-facing roof of the house, a new roof at the garage entry door, and replace or restore windows through the house as appropriate. In addition, the applicant will make every attempt to restore a Gothic entrance or located in a different site of the property.
I don't know if we have to put that in the motion, but is there a second there?
I like it.
Melinda has seconded. All right, I'm just going to go around. Kate,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
Luis, yes,
Aye.
Abigail,
Aye.
Melinda?
Aye.
And I'm an I as well. I want to thank you all for an excellent set of drawings and a nice presentation and great site visits and willingness to work with us. So thank you both. Thank you,
Thank you
Marshall.
very
Thank
much.
you, Adam. And
Appreciate it.
please thank
you all.
Melanie as well.
I
And we
will.
look forward to seeing the work.
Great.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Have a good evening.
All right. Take care,
Thanks
folks.
very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
You're
evening.
welcome. All right. So that was our last continuance and we're vaguely on time. So our first new public hearing from our old friend Mark Giddings is 12 Monument Square. This is a certificate of appropriateness, to replace a flat portion of roofing. And I see Mark is here. Hi, Mark.
Everybody speaking?
Yes,
There
we
he
can.
is.
Evening. So I represent Holy Holy Parish, and we have a problem in the sacristy roof. It's a tin roof that leaks, and the roofer wants to cover it with a rubber material. I submitted photographs of the roof that we are
Heather,
working
can
on.
you put those up?
You
Can
okay,
you put
Peter?
those up, Heather? No, I was just going to ask Heather to put them up on the, just so everybody sees it. Go ahead. Sorry.
And I solicited responses to neighbors, which are up here on the right-hand side, but I got no response. So it's the cemetery. That's the only neighbors. Okay. So
Wait, they're all dead.
that's what we're gonna replace. It leaks.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
That's
Uh-huh.
right.
Slow on the
Oh,
uptake
well,
there.
it was nice and cold. Okay. Okay. You missed my comment. So the roofer has recommended we recover it with a
Yeah.
rubber black roofing. I submitted a sample of the material. Seems like a no-brainer to me.
All right. Can I ask one question, Dennis? This is, sorry, Mark. Is there only because that roofing color is sort of grayish and I'm thinking about sort of heat issues. Is there a gray option or no for that rubber roofing?
I don't know the answer to that. I can ask. I doubt it. I think almost everything that I've ever seen has been done with this black rubber material. Okay.
Okay. It's really not a deal breaker.
There was a
to me, it's
recommendation
more-
of the,
That's fine. All right.
yeah, no, I can appreciate,
It's really an energy issue here. It's not like you don't want to go white because that's going to blind everybody, but there might be a cost savings in the summer. It might get less hot inside, but anyway, it's not a big deal.
I can certainly ask the question. I have no problem
it
doing
might
that.
might be good to find out. All right. Well, I think
That's fine.
let's just go around. Melinda, what do you think?
Wait, oh no, I'm not muted. I think it's fine. Whatever you can get.
Okay, thank you. And Abigail?
Yeah, I think we just make the approval, a rubber roof, either in gray or black as available. I think that's how we word the approval. And then if there's something gray available, they can go with gray. If there's not, then go with black and nobody needs to come back before us.
Terrific. Luis?
I agree.
Man, everybody's going for the brevity award tonight. Dennis?
Who'd you call on?
Brevity is okay.
Dennis,
Oh.
you're
Yeah, fine. I'll say fine, just fine.
okay. Well, you said it 3 times, so you don't get the award.
Thank you.
Catherine.
Dennis.
Right.
Catherine, what do you think?
Fine with me.
Fine with you?
I'm
And
winning.
Kate? Oh, you're muted though. You have to say something.
Good.
Good. Oh, man.
Did I
All
win?
right.
One.
Hi, Mark.
I see virtually no questions. So let's open it up to, is there any public comment on the application for replacing the roofing at 12 Monument Square, the Catholic Church?
No one's dying to comment.
Tennis.
I see none, so I would look for a motion from the commission, please.
I make a motion that we approve the application for 12 Monument Square to replace the existing roof with a rubber roofing material in either gray or black, final color to be submitted to Heather upon
record.
submission.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
All in favor? I'm just going to go in order. Kate,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
Luis,
Aye.
Abigail,
Aye.
Melinda,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Thank you, Mark, and good luck with that roofing project.
Thank you very much.
All right. See you soon.
Yeah, well, it's not my project. I'm just helping out. So,
Well,
but
you're very
thanks for your
kind
help.
to do
Nice
the
to see everybody
presentation.
again.
And nice to see you too.
Same.
Thanks.
All right, we hope we see you
Yep.
soon. All right, moving right along,
Yeah,
folks.
thanks.
Let's see, 12 Elm Street. This is Elizabeth and Robert Gibbs. This is to install some new fencing. And Heather, can you put the material up? I'm just gonna put it up on my screen, but I
So
realize that,
Peter,
yeah.
as an abutter,
Mhm.
I'm gonna mute myself and stop my video and recuse myself from this application.
Okay, so I will promote Catherine to voting member. How about that?
Great.
God, the power of this position is just. All right, 12 Elm Street, and I'm just looking at the fencing. Do we have the photos, Heather? The site plan. And this is really from the river where, well, actually, why don't I, the applicants are here. Am I looking? There you are. Would you mind? Hi, good, welcome. Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm really spacing. It's the Pfizer vaccine. I'll blame it all on the vaccine. I had my first shot this morning. All right. So would you mind just walking us through your application?
Of course.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
moved here a few years ago. And as you can see in the pictures we submitted, there is an existing post and rail fence. That's the picture from the river, looking up the stairs. So there's an existing post and rail fence along the whole length of the back of the property. And then on one side of the property, there's also some fencing. What we're proposing is this sort of third side, as you can see here, if you want to, yeah, that's good. So there's this property line here between ourselves and our neighbors on Elm Street. There isn't any existing fencing. We have 4 kids, and as you know, that bend between Main and Elm gets a little busy, and we try our hardest to get them to obey us. But sometimes with heated games of hide and go seek and stuff, they can go a little squirrely. So we are proposing to just put in, essentially continue the existing post and rail that is already in place when we moved in along 2/3 of the property. And as you can see, I just highlighted it in the property map that we inherited, which is all along the river's edge in the yellow. Then there's the garage building, which is why there's a break there. And then actually it's a white picket fence connecting the house to the existing structure of the garage, which is that sort of standalone yellow mark. And we're just asking to kind of essentially put in that blue dotted line to wrap it off. And it would be the same construction as the existing fence that's already on the property.
The post and rail or
Post and
the
rail.
picket? Okay.
Sorry, yeah, no, the post and rail.
All right.
And kind of hard. We didn't, we took pictures sort of from the river's edge and then where we'd like to put it. And weren't really actually sure what else would be helpful to submit. So I would love to hear your feedback.
One thing I would add is it's not actually the new one wouldn't really be visible from the river. So it's really just the existing one that's visible from the river. The new one would be more visible from the road.
All right, thank you. My sense is just frankly as the chair that I'm not sure anybody would notice that it wasn't there already, but that's just my opinion.
You can see a lot of the post and rail when you drive up and down Main anyway. So it's kind of just in keeping with the what's already in place in the whole neighborhood.
All right, well, thank you for that. All right, so let's, I think that's a fairly straightforward application. Let's go around and I'm just going to go in order. Melinda.
I have no objection to that. I think it's an attractive fence, and I can certainly understand why you would want to fence the entire yard. I think it's fine.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to skip over Abigail. Luis. Oh, you're muted, Luis.
I have no objections.
Thank you, sir. Dennis? No, now you're muted. Good. There you go.
Am I unmuted?
Yep.
Okay. I have no objection. Just a clarification. You're only looking for where the blue is, and you mentioned picket, and there's no picket involved in this project?
No picket in this project. I only mentioned picket because that's between the, it's existing, you know, we inherited it when we moved in. It's between the garage and the house. They're not connected. The garage and the house aren't connected.
Okay, that's just information. It's only the blue picket, so I have no problem.
Sorry, it's only post.
I mean, the blue post and beam, excuse me, whatever. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Dennis. Catherine?
I have no objections at all.
Thank you, ma'am. And Kate?
No objections.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kate. And I have even fewer objections. So
Less than
let me
none.
see if let me open this up to public comment. Any public comment on the fencing project at 12 Elm Street? I see no raised hands. All right, I would look to the commission for a motion, please.
I'll move. I move they approve the application for picket fence to extend the fence that already exists there as proposed.
And a second, I need a second. Melinda,
Second.
thank you. All in favor? I'm just going to go around. Kate?
Can you hear me or see me?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Catherine?
Aye.
Dennis?
Aye.
Yes. Luis?
Aye.
Melinda?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. So you are unanimously approved and good to go, and good luck getting that fence up.
Thank
Thanks
you
very
so
much.
much. We appreciate
Take
it.
care.
Have a great
You're
evening.
welcome. Thank you for your
Yep,
time.
thank you.
And welcome back, Abigail. And Catherine, I'm afraid you have to just give your seat up for Abigail one more.
Quite
time.
all right.
Someday you'll be in the seat of power. All right, moving right along. 33 Main Street is our next application, and this is an application to replace two windows, I believe. Sorry, I'm looking at two different things here. I'm looking at the application materials. This is just to replace two windows. So this is the applicant is Concord Square Trust. Who's here from that group tonight? Is there anyone from the owner side?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hi,
Peter.
Sharon.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome
So
back.
thank you. Yeah,
Looks like
thank you
you're
so
just-
much for having me. And I'm so
Welcome.
happy that you were able to see me tonight. I had come at your last meeting because we had a ferocious windstorm that
Mhm.
actually damaged the Camellas window. The window is 8 feet wide by 7 inches and 7-inch, 4-inch high. So we had proposed at the last meeting a silicone joint in between two sides, basically like what you're seeing. I believe there was blue dry goods and some other windows of the same detail.
Mhm.
So it's tempered glass with a tinted glass over it for safety. So we have Prudential Window was the one that did the job, and due to the fact that restaurants had such a difficult time due to COVID, the commission was nice enough to tell me that I could go ahead and do the work. It was actually completed on Tuesday, the safety glass installed today. And I'm really happy with how it looks, but I'm here in a formality to make sure that we have our I's dotted and our T's crossed.
All right. You don't have a photo of how it looks installed. We can just go by and look at it. Yes.
Yeah, I really hope you do go by and look at it because it's even nicer than I thought it would be.
All right. Well, I don't really have any questions. Thank you for coming by, Sharon. Let me see if the commissioners have any thoughts real quick. Melinda, any thoughts? Nope. Abigail?
No.
Luis?
Nope.
Dennis?
No.
Catherine?
Nope.
And Kate?
No.
All right. Is there any public comment on the replacement of the window at 33 Main Street? That would be a big no. How about a motion from the commission, please?
I make a motion that we approve the application for 33 Main Street as submitted.
Second,
Second,
all in favor. I'm just going to go reverse. Kate,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
Luis,
aye.
Abigail,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Sharon, thank you, and we'll look forward to getting our next sandwich from Camilla.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your support, and I wish you a wonderful evening.
All right, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in. Thanks for following through.
I know. Thank you, Heather.
All right, folks. Our next application, 25 Monroe Place. This is an I'm sorry, I'm reading from the wrong thing here. This is in the Northbridge District. Now I'm going to mispronounce the last name here. It's Cara and Michael Tenseland.
Exactly.
You got it right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I just want to make sure if I do nothing else as chair, I pronounce people's names correctly. This is to construct a screen porch and small addition, replace garage door with bay window, new skylight, dormer, window changes, and lighting. Welcome. Now, Heather, may I ask that you put the, maybe the well, I guess we could go through each thing. What we'd love you all to do is just walk us through the project. I think we're going to need to do a site visit, but we'd love to just get an understanding if you wouldn't mind walking us through it.
Okay. Oh, sure.
Thank you.
We've been residents of Concord. We're Michael and Kara Tenslin. We've been residents of Concord for 6 years. We purchased the house we're in now on 25 Monroe Place 3 years ago. And so we're proposing renovations to improve like the flow and functionality of our main entryway, which is a mudroom laundry area. When we bought the house, it had an existing garage that had been converted to living space. And so we have a mechanical room right in the center of our house right now that houses the boiler and the laundry room and the hot water heater. So it's kind of all one space. And then when you walk into the house, you walk literally into like a door with a toilet. So you see the toilet. So we're trying to improve the functionality of the house right now.
All in favor?
And so what's existing invisible from the exterior of the house is a faux garage door. So there's no garage. It's a rotting garage that I go out and fill holes and paint all the time to keep it looking nice, but it needs to be replaced. So we're proposing a reconfiguration of the space, which allows a better flow, relocation of the mechanicals, the bathroom and the laundry room. And so the light blue little bump out on the left is a proposed addition, which will allow for the space to put the laundry room and the bathroom off of an existing, what is a playroom now on that left side of the space. And then opening up that mudroom area. And there were some plans, I think you have those as well, but everything we're proposing is within the setbacks and the square footage allowance for our lot, as well as all in line with existing exterior finishes, door style of the house presently in the style of the area. So we're proposing some windows on the left side of the house to maintain that living space. We're not going to convert it back to a garage. We'd like to maintain the living space there. So what we'd like to do is put some office space, some windows in that playroom space, relocate the bathroom and the laundry room to the back of that space, and then open up that mudroom area so we have a direct path and an access to our back garden. And then we would like to put the screened porch on the right-hand side. We don't have an existing deck or patio or anything in the backyard presently, so we'd like to be able to, put something out there that allows us to enjoy the space more in our back garden. And so that's the floor plan. So the elevations just show. So there's a little doghouse dormer that shows over the side door right there, which is our main entry. We are actually not going to proceed with that we're going to just leave the roof line as it is right now. We were trying to figure out how to get light into that mudroom space because we have a large sugar maple that's over that side of the house. So it's very shaded on that side of the house. So just, we were trying to figure out how to access more light. So what we've decided is to have that skylight on the back side of the house that will allow light into that room, but that will not be visible from the street. So the only change is visible to the street, from the street, will be the window in the front, the bay window, the screen porch, and then we're going to swap out the existing door on the front mudroom side and put in a door that's consistent with the style of the house, with like 12 light, 3/4 glass door, wooden door, paint grade to be painted in line with the colors of the house right now. And then on the left side of the house, we will have 3 awning windows that are, I believe you can see them on that bottom right elevation, west elevation of the house. And that's very consistent with the other houses in our neighborhood. All their garages have windows as well. So we've tried to stay very in like with everything that exists currently.
All right. Okay, well, let me just I sort of jump the gun here a little bit and say we are going to want to do a site visit. These are very in character, but rather significant changes to the exterior. So our next meeting is, when is our next meeting, Heather? Are we in May already? May 6th?
You doesn't seem like you have a May meeting. I thought the May meeting was postponed.
Was that because of town meeting?
Town meeting, right?
But that's not true anymore, is it? Because town meetings now in
Town meetings
June.
in
Town
June.
meeting's on June 13th.
June 13th. And
May 20th.
so why are we skipping the May 6th meeting? I don't remember.
There's a public hearing for town meeting. I believe it's FinCom, and we can't hold a public hearing at the same time as one of the town meeting public hearings. So the
Okay.
next meeting's May 20th.
So that is a month almost. Wow. Okay. Well, let me ask the homeowners, is there a hardship there? Are you really trying to get this going?
Well, we've been working with the architects and the builders since the end of last summer. And so we were hoping to have, so we both work from home. So we were hoping to have the construction done over this summer to be able to do that. And so, we've had issues with the survey. We've had issues with the renderings. We've had a lot of like hiccups from that have gotten us to this time frame. So the longer we wait, the more we push back. We have a young daughter at school in Alcott, so we're hoping to have everything wrapped up by September, if possible.
And the real impetus before this whole renovation was to replace the boiler and the furnace, because those had started to fail, and that wasn't a good feeling when they were down for a week in last December. We were having fires in our fireplace every night to stay warm. So that's the real impetus behind this whole thing, is to get.
That's not good.
Yeah. So that's our real hardship behind all of it.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm doing sort of internal conversation here. So that's 5 weeks, I think, until the next meeting, which is a long time. So Heather, I guess I'm looking to you. Is there we can do the site visit off meeting schedule. The question is, we can't really discuss this if we don't have a public meeting.
Right.
Correct.
May I ask for a suggestion?
Yes, go ahead.
Question? Is it possible to do some of the infrastructure work, like boilers and things like that are not really our purview before the project is approved? The only reason I'm saying that is because this is a fairly straightforward project that, I wish we had a meeting in 2 weeks because I believe that it would be approved without major changes. But it's a technicality that it's delaying it, and it's actually a very important delay. So maybe they can go ahead and gain some time by doing some of the work that doesn't need our purview.
The problem is the boiler and the mechanicals were going to go in the bump out addition that we need your approval for in order to start with.
Yeah, and we can't, and so we've had the architect stop the work that they've been doing until we can get approval here to get the final construction drawings and the renderings done.
Yeah, and I think it's actually, I'll say, I think it's unfair to have the homeowner proceed entirely at risk if there's some small chance that we would object to it for some reason.
Yeah, we would not be comfortable with that.
Right. So
can I see the drawing again? Where's that bump out?
Yeah.
It's on the back. It's not visible.
So the bump out is invisible, right?
Yeah, it's not visible from the road at all. It's
So
right
we're not,
there.
so we're not concerned with the bump out, correct?
No, but the screen porch is new, right?
Right. But and the bump out is where the boiler is going to go, right? That's the whole boiler thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's going to be, yeah.
So we don't, I guess what I'm understanding, we need to really only approve the porch and the bay window, correct?
And
Is
the
that all that's
front
going
door.
on there?
Yeah, and the front door.
And the front door.
Or the,
But you could move ahead with doing the other renovation without us, correct?
Well, I suppose, I don't know. We were told,
Yes, you can. You don't have to worry. You definitely can.
Yeah, we can't see it. I don't know why you can't move ahead doing it.
Okay, so it's the window, the bay window, the door, and the porch that are the.
It would be these windows on the west elevation also, correct? Because those are sort of visible from the road, depending on how you're coming.
Right.
But those are.
Yeah, you'd have to be really looking, but I mean, I don't know what you're.
That's all sort of cosmetic stuff, correct?
Yeah, it's not changing the massing. It's not.
Right. It's not doing, so I don't know. Anyway.
Well, so let's do this. We're gonna do a little bit out of character. So I think we typically would just sort of discuss this a little bit tonight and then hold off questions to the site meeting. But given that, I think what I'd frankly like to do is a kind of conditional approval. Oh God, can we do that without getting into trouble? I'm trying to think if I don't want to get arrested by the HDC police.
Sorry, Peter, for
Yes.
simplicity's sake. So this is my thought is, yes, I think it's unfair that the town meeting schedule has really delayed our second hearing. I think we either basically for our records and our consistency, and also for the kind of peace of mind of the homeowner. I understand this is like very nerve wracking to be like, well, we're going to kind of think it's okay and maybe not. Like that's a risk, and I get it. I think we either have to approve it this evening without a site visit or delay it. I would suggest, however, we ask for public comment, because if there's no public comment, no abutter concerns, they're fine with it. Looking at it, I think I can approve most of it with a discussion and without a site visit this evening. But if there's serious neighborhood concerns, then I would say that we're going to need a site visit prior to approval. So that's my suggestion of how we.
Okay, that's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Another suggestion is we could meet at like 6 p.m. And you have to be done at 7
6 p.m. on
when the FinCom meeting starts. 1, because you can't have it at the same time, and 2, I have to be at FinCom for a presentation.
And that's on what day, Heather?
On May 6th.
Which would be typically our next meeting.
Right. So you could.
That's an interesting
Yeah.
idea. It would be a limited agenda, I suppose.
And you would need to make it quick.
Yeah. Oh, we can talk very quickly.
Yeah, but that that would create a problem if there are other applicants
Right. that's-
that may not be able to get into into the meeting, which in
Right.
that
Once you
case.
have an open meeting, you can't just cancel it halfway through and say we have to go to another meeting.
Exactly.
Well, I like Abby's suggestion. I think I also, I mean, of course, I'm an architect, so I can read these plans relatively quickly, but why don't we try this? Let's talk about it this evening, see if there's any public comment. And after that, let's see how the commission feels. What do you say? Let's do that. All right, so I think I have a pretty good understanding of the design. My only questions, and I can't say I've memorized the packet, are all the windows in there specifications wise?
They should be.
Okay. I'm
So
looking
the
at them.
windows will be keeping in line with the existing. So we have wooden,
Mhm.
original wooden windows, original to the house. They're double hung, single pane windows.
But you would probably do insulated glass, correct?
Yeah, I think that was in the application.
I see. That's the one thing I don't see. It says proposed
We
windows.
don't
simulated.
have specs on windows.
Okay, we may need to follow up with a few things like that.
Okay.
You know, the cut sheet for the window. I think the screen porch, the screen material itself, the sample, I see you're matching existing in a lot of cases. Concrete foundations, siding and trim match existing. We'd probably want color chips. Unless it's just matching existing. It's just matching existing.
All matching
Oh, yeah.
exists. It's all matching existing.
Okay, then we don't really need the color chips. I
And
don't
so
think.
the screen porch actually design was taken from the house that abuts our yard at 45 Lang Street. So that screen porch that they have is similar to the one that we are looking to put on
Gotcha.
the back.
Gotcha. And I'm trying to think what else visible from the public way. Windows, doors, chimney's going to be repaired or rebuilt or not even touched, right?
Chimney's not
Chimney
touched.
not
So
touched.
nothing on the main part of the body, like the main
All
house.
right, I don't have any other, so let me go around and see what the commission thinks, if that would be all right. Thank you for presenting, by the way. Melinda. What do you
I'm
think?
in favor of going ahead with this. I don't think anything is so controversial that we would need to, that we can make an exception in this case. That's what I think. Because it looks to me like everything's well presented and there isn't much that you haven't done. The color of the screens, Peter's already mentioned. I don't have any other issues. I think it's fine.
Thank you, Melinda. Abby, any other thoughts?
Yeah, so we need cut sheets on both the windows with the divided lights, I'd say, in a style matching existing. And on the side of the garage conversion, whatever you want to call that space. And a cut sheet for the door, which you've described to us in detail. I think you'd need to come back with exterior light fixtures and wattage. It says TBD. That's not going to hold up the project. But we're particular about those. So you'd need to either come back with an application for those if you're going to add any exterior light fixtures. Other than that, that's why I was okay without a site visit. I don't really think this is such a substantial change to the home or an out of keeping with the type of home or the neighborhood that I'd have serious objections to it. So as long as those cut sheets are submitted for Heather's administrative approval, and then you would come back for any exterior light fixtures or any changes to that, I would be okay with it. And yeah, if everything else is matching existing, then that's pretty standard. So.
Okay, thank you, Abby. Luis?
I have no objections to the project.
Thank you, sir. Dennis?
I have no objections. I agree with everything that's been said and seems pretty straightforward to me.
Thank you, sir. Catherine?
Yeah, I think architecturally, it looks like it's been well designed and well planned and feels nicely integrated into the existing structure, so I have no objections.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Kate?
No objections. I agree with all my commissioners. Do we just know what the screen material is going to be on the screen porch? Besides screen, but which kind?
I don't know what the screen is, but I noted the point earlier with the black screens and how it changes. So, because I agree with that, I'm not a fan of that. So it will be, I'm hoping it's something, very kind of transparent.
So do we want a sample of that?
Yeah, I think,
Yes.
I think if we ask for a submission of a sample and put into the approval that it be a,
Yeah.
clear material, we've noted that before in applications.
Yeah. So if you all pencilants could do that.
Yep,
Yes, we can do that.
Okay. All right, thank you, Kate. The only last comment I have is that tree is not in danger, the big sugar maple, is it? There's not going to be any foundation work over there.
No, that tree is very near and dear to both of
That's
our
what I-
spending
that's what I
20 years in
figured.
Vermont. We love that tree.
I know, I love old trees like that. Okay, so I think we've heard from all the commissioners. Is there any public comment on the work proposed at 25 Monroe Place? Looking around. Okay, I don't see any. Are there any hands raised, Heather? Okay, I don't see any. So this is a little unorthodox, but I think Abby's right on. I think it's a you presented the material well. We've asked for a little bit of follow-up, but waiting 5 weeks for you to just come back to say exactly what we're going to say tonight seems a little ridiculous. So why don't I look for a motion from the commission, please?
I move
Good.
we approve the application of 25 Monroe Place to construct a screen porch and a small addition to the rear of the house, replace the garage door with a bay window, install a skylight and dormer, and make changes to the windows. The applicant will submit for administrative approval the specs of the windows, all the color chips, all the specs of the door, and the materials and the specifications of the screen porch. And if any light fixtures are going to be approved, this will be the subject of a subsequent application in the future.
Could I get a second on that motion?
A second.
Thank you, Melinda. And I'll start with you all in favor. Melinda?
Aye.
Abigail?
Aye.
Luis?
Aye.
Dennis?
Aye.
Catherine?
Aye.
And Kate?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. All right, well, thank you, folks. And I'm glad we could work this out this evening. So if you wouldn't mind just following through with those cut sheets and samples and what have you. And we'll wish you luck on the project.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right. And last but not least, we have an application at 462 Lexington Road. Luis, do you have to recuse yourself?
I will recuse myself because although I'm not an abutter, I'm in the neighborhood. So
No,
I will.
You don't have to if you're just a neighbor.
Well, it's up to the commission. You see, I can see this property from my house, and
okay.
If there's any question, we can keep things way above water.
Let's do that then. So thank you.
I agree. So I will mute my phone and I will just observe and I will make comments as a member of the public.
Okay, thank you. Catherine or Kate, either of you gunning to be the fifth person?
I don't mind.
Catherine should run with it.
All right, Catherine, you're it again.
Going.
All right, thank you, folks. So this is the Castrocini Mickelson. Did I get that right?
Yeah,
Probably.
very Castrocini and Michelson, but very close.
Michelson, oh man, it blew my
You got
record.
Castrocini. That was good.
That's only because
the more
I'm
important
Italian.
He's Peter Nobili. Yeah, he better
That's
get it
'cause
right.
I'm the only Italian on the team. So this is a proposal to remove existing asphalt and to construct a new detached garage structure with lighting, new steps, alterations to hardscaping, replacing some fencing, and removing existing handicapped access ramp. So would you folks mind, and I see Ashley and Adam are both here. Would you like to present it, or do you have a?
So yeah, Michael is here as well with us, as well
Michael?
as our builder, Jonathan. We just wanted to thank everyone, I guess, for taking the time and also, I guess, taking the time on an informal basis in February. We really did try to kind of take all of your input in, as well as we did speak to a few of our neighbors, including Mark and Christy, who are at 478 and built a similar kind of detached structure with the appropriate distance from the property line, et cetera. And we really did try to kind of, I think we explained in February, our real goal was to really restore this into a single family home. We do have 3 young children and probably plans for more down the line. So this is our kind of forever home. We wanted to, have this ability to kind of create a garage for us and our family. So I will let Michael take over from here, and then we can obviously jump in for questions when appropriate.
All right, and forgive me, it's all coming back to me now. Yes, thank you. You came in
Ash was
before.
very happy to be back home in Concord, and it's
Okay.
been a wonderful return for us.
Okay, thank you. I drew a total blank on this project. So thank you again for coming back.
Thank you.
All right, Michael, do you want to walk us through the proposed design?
Absolutely. So good seeing everyone. I am Mike Salagi, architect with On the Boards Design, working with Ashley and Adam on this project. There's 3 main elements to the proposal that we're putting in front of you. The major one is a proposed new detached garage structure. It's a 2-car garage structure with storage on the ends and habitable space or usable space on the 2nd floor. It's approximately 1,600 square feet total. We're proposing it at the back of the current driveway, which currently, because this is the old Hawthorne Inn, had 9 parking spaces. We're proposing to reduce that dramatically to just 2 parking spaces and then the 2-car garage. So proposing that the new structure is 30 feet back from the rearmost point of the existing house. The second part of the project is replacing some fencing along the east property line. Currently, I think it's a 6-foot solid fence. We're proposing a 5-foot tall, a more traditionally designed picket fence. That picket fence then also would be added connecting the new garage structure to the existing house structure. And then that same picket fence design would wrap on the other side of the house, which is the west side of the property. And I believe there's a drawing that shows that a little bit better. That would wrap around and essentially create an enclosed backyard space for the family. And the third part of the project is removing an existing accessible ramp. You can see that on sheet A3 there. The bottom drawing shows on the left the proposed detached garage. The right is the back side of the existing house, which currently has a side entrance and a covered porch that connects that side entrance to a rear wing that was modified, I believe, back in 2017. And a ramp was added, I believe, a few years ago for accessibility. We're proposing removing that ramp. It's no longer needed. The covered connected porch structure would remain, as well as all the details of the railing. So it's essentially just taking the handicap accessible ramp out. So those are the 3 primary objectives of this project.
Thank you, Michael. Heather, could you scroll down to the 3D views? Those are, I think, the last few drawings. There you go. So there's a view of the drive, looking down the driveway. There's a different view. And the last one is, that's a kind of a nice overview. Okay, so we're looking at minor modifications to the house. and essentially so there's no other work on the house itself.
Correct. There's some interior renovations that are going on. There's not any changes to the exterior that I'm aware of. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to just go back to the earlier conversation. So our next meeting, so typically, again, we would want to do a site visit, but it's several weeks away. Is that going to cause a problem, or can the homeowners wait that long?
The answer is maybe, and maybe not. Our main goal is just to have the garage ready by snowfall.
Next winter, yeah.
And kind of have something ready by the fall. We are approaching the period of time that could make that somewhat difficult. I also am likely going to use the area above the garage as my home office. The pandemic has taught me that working at home with 3 small children and some dogs is not the easiest of tasks. But
we can work with it.
The answer is maybe. I think we've also found finding materials and everything else in a time frame that's maybe similar to historic times has been a little bit more challenging than we expected. Our initial fence quote, I can assure you, was nothing short of disturbing. So
I believe it.
We actually tried to recreate the fence similar to the Emerson House fence,
right,
which apparently is like the most expensive fence in America.
It's Concord.
Yeah, and so we're in the and it took even 3 weeks to get a quote. So we want to be as amenable as humanly possible for this, with the only caveat that we really would love to have it done by the fall before there's snow.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, I mean, I guess my own feeling is that the design really doesn't strike me as anything terribly outrageous. It's just that it is a rather major change to this property. So I really would like to do a site visit before approval, but I think we can get a pretty good idea of this project and have our questions either ready or thought through before then. So once May, is it 20th arrives, my hope is that it would go relatively quickly.
Okay.
So let me just see what the commission thinks. So Melinda,
I just have one comment.
Yes.
On May 20th, I am having a minor surgical procedure on that day. I don't think it will be an impediment, but it's possible I may not be present.
I can represent.
Yeah, but if so, Ashley can take care of everything.
Okay, thank you. If this is any kind of a year to have weird stuff happen cycle-wise, this is the year.
That is true.
We've never been through this kind of thing before. Melinda, let me see what you think.
So I do think we need a site visit. I'm a little confused with some of the drawings. So when I look at this large one that's in front of me, the garage looks like it's a third the size of the house, which is pretty big. And then when I look to photo number 7, it looks considerably smaller. Yeah, like it is at the same building kind of thing. So I would have to see it. I have to say I love the fence. Maybe Emerson's getting a percentage. And I like the fact that you're going to reduce the driveway because, that great big long driveway, okay, it's not so great. I don't know what you're going to use coming up, but you can tell us about that more, I'm sure. But I do want to see the size, marked on the property of the garage.
Okay, thank you, Melinda.
Thank you.
Abigail.
Yeah, so I think everybody's going to be, well, dangerous speaking for everybody. I think everyone's going to be in favor of the handicap ramp removal. That just seems like a no-brainer, and the restoration of that porch. I likewise, it's a lot of fencing, but I think the style and the openness and the reduction in height is an improvement. I have toddlers, I have dogs, I understand you need a fenced yard.
We have 4 dogs and 3 kids.
Yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Thank you.
So, but it is a lot of fencing, and we don't typically see kind of like fully enclosed fenced yards. So on site, it'll be interesting to see how that appears, but I understand the functionality and the need of it.
Yeah. I think you'll get a feel too, like when you come, like now that we've been living here for a little while, we're like seeing like people just like come on the property. And they're
sure.
they're not like, I'm like, oh, hi.
I think the style of the fence is attractive.
And
likewise, accessory buildings, it's nice that it's a 2-car garage. You know, we always have a preference for 2-car garages as opposed to 3-car garages. I think the style of it is complementary to the house. You know, when we're on site looking at scale and massing and sizes is what we're going to be concerned with. So having it mapped out is really helpful. Ridge height is always the biggest challenge because we've realized balloons are useless. We used to try to ask people to float balloons and they flop around in the wind and we don't know. So if there's some way to denote ridge height, that's always very helpful to us. So yeah, and a reduction of driveway is always a win for the historic district. So on its face, I don't have any strong objections, but we're going to want to go over the garage structure in detail. And cut sheets for everything and all the rest of it. But on site, I think it will certainly make it feel more residential, and maybe you won't get tourists wandering down your door. So
thank you.
And I think, Melinda, when you see it in person, it will be a little easier. I think that picture of the house does somewhat diminish its size. It is a very large and beautiful old home, and we are so happy and thankful. We're on the same page. I think that we want to make sure it's not
monster.
Yeah, not something problematic.
Yeah.
I think one of the things we often will say is that it's subservient to the main house. That's really it's probably not a very good use of that word these days.
And Abby, just so the fence that abuts 478, that exists there already. And it is a slightly larger fence. So we'd be likely proposing something a little bit shorter. It does run the entire length of the property. As well.
It's falling down too. So that's
all right. Thank you, Abigail. Luis, I'm going to skip you because you've recused yourself. Dennis.
Yeah, at this point, I don't have any comments, any thoughts. I think that it's been covered by everybody else. So I'm just going to wait for the site visit and see how that goes. I am curious, though. I know the last time we met with you, you said that you were thinking of leaving the sign up as an artifact, but I noticed you've taken it down.
Well,
no, actually, no.
We actually have not taken it down.
I saw it down last time I went by.
It is, unfortunately, there is some contention. The prior owners stole the sign.
Stole it, actually.
Oh.
And so we're in process of trying to get it returned. If the historical commission would care to be involved.
Yeah, it's actually
no, thank you.
It's in legal. We're legally trying to get
no, we got our own controversies.
No. Sorry, sorry I mentioned it.
It's okay.
So our goal is to have it returned. Our goal, I mean, again, I think we really tried to be consistent from the outset. Yeah. Our goal is to make this, to restore kind of some of the beauty of the home, make sure the property is kept up and beautiful and adds to everything that I think you guys are all aiming for. So I think we're all completely aligned.
Well, it's the first time.
Hopefully you'll see it soon when you drive by. Hopefully it'll be back up soon.
It's the first time theft has ever come up in any of our meetings.
Yeah, that's
all right. Thank you, Dennis. Catherine, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the drawings are nicely well-defined and clear and easy to read, but I too think we will all benefit a lot just by being oriented better to scale and proportion and the siting in general when we go to the site visit. So like Dennis, I'm going to sort of hold until we have the opportunity to see things on site, but I have no doubt that it's ultimately going to be a good plan. So that's it.
The one thing, it could make it somewhat difficult to stake it out. Only because there is a large amount of asphalt, most of which we would prefer to kind of remove. In the interim, it may be somewhat difficult to stake it out given that dynamic, but we'll do whatever we can.
We can tape it or
Yeah.
something.
Then just
Yeah.
cones,
Yeah.
Be like cones
Oh,
or
that's a good idea.
posts.
orange
posts.
cones, whatever.
Thanks, Abby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
I will
idea.
say, sorry, now that I've interrupted, out of both curiosity and because we would need it, the weather vane, we would need, that's a big decision as a homeowner,
Mhm.
what your weather vane might be. But if there's actually going to be a weather vane on the garage, we would need that cut sheet as well.
Okay.
Would you prefer it or not prefer it? We're open to your suggestions.
I think it's probably 6 of one, half a dozen another. Some commissioners may feel strongly, but you know, design wise, it's up to you.
And there are some not noted in that picture because it's reasonably small. They did create 2 structures, one of which is in the survey, the other is not because I think they deemed it too small to note. So we'd also be removing that as part of this as well. Even though they're not material structures by any means, they would be, this garage would be certainly larger than the structure that's there at present, but it would be somewhat replacing something that is there in place.
The only thing I would offer on that front, and this is not a design observation, is that the cupola and the weather vane do tend to draw the attention to the ridge height. And it might be something to just consider if that's something you would rather minimize. It might actually help the building be a little more quiet on the site, if that's the right word, but that's really just an observation.
Peter, you mentioned, or was mentioned earlier, talking about Emerson's. I think the relationship here is interestingly very much like the Emerson House and the Emerson House barn that they have. And I think that's ought to be maybe the model we look at in terms of massing, and in turn they have a cupola, and I think they have a weather vane, or at least they had one at one point. So I think that's sort of the juxtaposition that I think is good to keep in mind.
Okay, thank you for
That's
that.
a good idea. Thank you.
And while it's not necessarily relevant to this conversation, there are original doors from the Daniel Chester French barn as well. And we do plan to keep them and try to incorporate them as well to whatever extent we can.
Okay.
Great.
Kate, I didn't mean to skip you. Kate, do you have any thoughts? You have to, there you go.
No, I mean, you know, like the others have said, I'll be interested in seeing the portion of the proposed garage with its proximity to the house. And also just the idea of 5 foot tall, that much 5 foot tall fencing, just throwing that out there. I mean, that's a lot of fencing at 5 feet.
Yeah, the current fence is 6 feet, so it would be slightly shorter than that one. But we can kind of discuss whatever if there's concern.
But the current fence doesn't run like all the way.
It does.
It does?
Just on one side.
Just on one side, yeah.
It does.
Yeah, but so I would just, you know,
More
just
for safety. Like our kids will climb it. Like it has to be safe, or we don't have people climb coming in.
Okay.
All right. I think I've heard from all the commissioners. So I think we are going to continue the hearing until the 20th of May. Ashley and Adam, I know it's a little bit of a hassle. I hope you'll bear with us for the sake of our process.
Is there a way? I know that we were talking about for the other family of doing something at 6 o'clock that day.
No,
there's not. They're not. Oh, there's no. Okay.
Oh, your face.
It's a long time. It's like, but okay.
Yeah, it is a long time. I think the problem is having an earlier meeting is another public meeting.
Okay.
Heather, we didn't really discuss that all the way through. If we had a 1 hour meeting, what happens when we cut it short?
Right.
I mean, if you can't come up with a decision and vote or by, 6:59, then you would need to continue it till May 20th.
But I mean, if there were other applications would anybody else be on that docket, or would this be a
No,
special
because we
meeting?
took it off the schedule on the website, so we got no applications for it. So it would just be this.
Well, if it's just one project, can I look around and see if the commissioners would be willing to meet that day?
What's the day again? May
May 6th, I think.
I have a question, just curiously, the process. So if a site meeting is done, is it done prior to the evening meeting? So it's a daytime site visit and same day as the.
That's correct. It would be typically at 8 or 8:30 in the morning.
Got it.
We'd come visit the site. We can't really discuss it. It's not a public meeting. Technically, we'd ask questions, and then that evening we would meet.
Understood.
So I guess the question is the commission willing to meet on May 6th in the morning and then at 6 o'clock, right? I guess it's everybody's supper time. So I'm looking at everybody on the screen here.
I'm fine with trying that at 6 p.m.
Sorry,
that's fine.
we're
That's
not
fine.
going to run afoul of notice periods or anything like that, that we've got plenty of time to notice it, change the website, public notice, all the rest of it.
Yeah, yeah, because we don't have to run legal ads or anything for a continuance.
Okay. That I don't have any objection to it as long as we're not gonna run afoul of any of the really particular.
Okay, well, thank you. I guess I'm gonna beg, bless you. I beg your collective indulgence to help this homeowner out, because I think 5 weeks is an awful lot.
I agree.
Time to wait.
Thank
All
you.
right, so why don't we do this? Let's say we'll meet, we'll have a special meeting on May 6th, which is in 3 weeks. Can we meet on site at 8 in the morning? Is that okay with everyone? Ashley and Adam
Yeah,
and
of
Michael?
course.
Yes.
And all right, we'll say the 6th at 8 a.m. And then we will meet by Zoom in the evening, also at 6 p.m. So 12 hours later. So what we would do is come, look around, ask any questions. If you could have it staked out. The trick is going to be the ridge height.
If I could suggest, I could approximate the ridge height in comparison to the existing rear wing of the house,
Okay.
which is the closest point to the proposed garage. So it might be a good reference point. There's also a cupola on that back wing that will give some context to additional height. So.
And Michael,
Do some research. Our neighbors that you'll see when you do the site visit, their garage is basically like right next to our property, and I wonder how high their garage is, and they have.
Yeah.
So I could also get like how high theirs is, and you'd be able to compare when you're standing right there too. I think we could do that as well.
okay. And Michael, if I may, would it be possible, even if it's kind of rough, to use, I'm not sure if this is a SketchUp model or not, but to put the model into the photographs, just so we can see what it's like looking down the driveway, you know, to the best of your ability, because I do think that the orthographic drawings they're always throw things off scale wise, because it all looks like it's in one plane when the reality is it's way back. So if that could be even available beforehand and you could send it to Heather and we could look at it, because then when we're out at the site and we can look and compare that, I think that would help everybody get a better sense of the massing.
Yeah, I've never done that before, but I'm open to a challenge. So.
All right.
Thanks, Michael.
Or even if, or even the other thing, Michael, is honestly, is it a SketchUp model?
It is, yeah.
So oftentimes what you do is to have the photograph next to the SketchUp model and then just eyeball it kind of, and then take a snapshot, and it's usually about right.
Okay. Yep. No, I'll take a look at it.
Don't worry about like photorealistic. Okay. So we heard from all the commissioners, did we not? I've lost track of time. And we're looking for May 6th. And Heather, I thank you in advance for doing all that notifying and what have you.
It's 6th, I think. Did you say 5th? I think it's 6th.
I said 6th, sorry.
Oh.
But yes, so the 6th. And Heather, anything else we need to do officially or no? Are we good to just ask for a continuance?
Public comment.
Yes, public comment. Is there any public comment? I am so sorry, it's late. On the proposed work at 462 Lexington Road. I don't see any raised hands. All right, so I would look for a motion from the commission, please. And
I
this
make a motion that we continue the application for 462 Lexington Road to a special meeting called on May 6th with a site visit that morning at 8 a.m.
and a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor, Kate? Kate's an aye. Melinda?
Aye.
Abigail?
Aye.
Luis? Oh, I skipped you, sorry. Dennis?
Aye.
Catherine?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Thank you all for
Hey,
this
thanks,
special arrangement.
everyone.
And Ashley and Adam, thank you for your understanding.
Really
Yes, and
excited.
Michael?
Thank you.
Michael, thank you for the presentation, and we'll look forward to seeing you in 3 weeks.
Thanks, guys. Just one last comment, I guess, is the general temperature that you would prefer the cupola to stay on the garage or be removed?
Oh, man, nice. So you're going to start an hour-long conversation about cupolas. I think it'll vary from one commissioner. I would say it's probably good to look at it in context. So I wouldn't change anything yet. Let's see it. And Dennis makes a great point about the Emerson House.
Has a cupola on the top of it.
Dennis, I love that you brought that up. Thank you.
Well, it was functional. It actually vented the barn. So
Right.
it had a functional reason for being there.
It's going to vent Adam's office.
Yeah, that's right. You could vent your office.
All right. Well,
We
thank
may
you,
include air
folks.
conditioning as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you in a few weeks.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you all commissioners for being willing to do that. All right. That is our last public hearing. Is that right, Heather? Do we have anything new? Pardon me. I think we're on to other business. Yes. All right. So 1 Sudbury Road. What,
Oh, excuse
sorry?
me, Peter, it's
Yes,
Kate.
Kate.
I have a cracking migraine, and so I'd like to sort of exit now.
Yes, please do.
Okay, sorry
Thank
about
you.
that.
It's
All
good to
right.
see you.
Take care.
See you
Thanks,
soon.
thanks.
Feel
Bye.
better, Kate.
Thanks.
Better.
All right. One commissioner down, 7 to go. Just kidding. All right, 1 Sudbury Road. Now, this is a potential plan, and I'm not sure who the homeowners are here. Heather, can you help me out?
Hello.
Yeah, there.
Oh, there you
How
are.
are you?
Hi, folks. Welcome.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
Tell us what you're thinking about. This is an informal, just sort of temperature taking of us.
Well,
right.
do you want to start? Sean?
That's great. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for taking the time. I'm Liam Pasquan. This is my wife, Suen Wong. We're very happy to be here, and we're happy that you've come to consider our house. And we're looking forward to working with you for sure. And I think at this point, we'll hand it off to our architect.
So good evening, Peter, member of the
Hi,
board.
Jacob.
I'm Jacob Lilly from JLA Architects in Wellesley. I'm joined this evening with Michael Finch, who's our project architect from the team. Just wanted to say, as a fellow historic commission member for the town of Wellesley, I appreciate you guys all keeping the lights on for us this evening to give us your feedback. Much appreciated. I think this house requires very little introduction. It's nestled between Sudbury Road and Main Street. It's certainly very visible, and it certainly had a rough go of it for sure. A fire. It's been host to farm animals. This is a house that has probably seen a lot of action over its years, and in the past 30 odd years or so, it certainly has been somewhat neglected. And we're very fortunate in that Suen and Liam are patrons, and they fell in love with this house, and they fell in love with the property, and are certainly vested in trying to bring it back to life. And we think this is a wonderful opportunity to not only save this house, but to also make adjustments to it to deal with today's modern living. And I'm going to turn it over to Michael, who's going to share his screen and run you through some of the thoughts that we have on restoring this house.
By the way, I will just say we are thrilled to see this house getting some attention. It's a fine house.
Yes, so as Jake mentioned, it's a very, very visible house. As you can see, we wanted to start here and really
give everybody a flavor of the house in its heyday. So you can see an old historic photo here. Really, when the house was very highly used, you can see everybody sitting out on the porch, and we really want to bring back this character to the house, while also making it a more usable and functional house for the homeowners. So
do people have to dress that way if they sit on the porch?
It's optional. So I want to give everybody a kind of a quick flavor of what you see from the street. So you can see in the middle of summer, everything grown in. The house is very hidden away from the street. It's a very stately house. Tall, which is very indicative of the late 1800s Italianate architecture, but you can see that it's really sort of hidden from the street, especially when everything's grown in. But when you see it in the winter, in a lot of the deciduous trees lose their leaves, it's very open property. It's a very large property for its location in the center of town. You can see that there's two kind of main wings. The taller of the two wings on the left-hand side here has a hipped roof. The right-hand wing has a gable that returns through the house. Noting back to that historic photo, at some point in the 1900s, this porch was built over on the second floor. So there was a bedroom addition added there. There are large bay windows on both sides of the house. So this is the left side of the house facing northeast, which is where the existing parking court is. On the right-hand side of the house, there's a one-story bay window at the formal living room. And you can see the really kind of ornamentation of the Italianate architecture is really present everywhere on the house. When you look at the rear of the house, there was sort of a late addition that was put on this back wing here with a small porch coming out into the backyard. This was definitely not a part of the original house. As Jake mentioned, at one point, this portion of the house was home to some livestock living in it. The second floor portion actually sits lower than the rest of the second floor. So one thing we'd like to look at is raising this up to make one contiguous second floor, making this a proper space for an additional bedroom on the back here. So that is a little bit of the existing context. So I'll flip through some of the existing elevations. So part of what we're going to be proposing here, there's currently no garage on the property, attached or detached. So part of the proposal is adding an attached garage with a small mudroom connector to connect that. As I mentioned, raising this second floor portion in the back to give a true bedroom. So that would mean raising the roof here slightly, not raising it higher than the main roof, but to make this kind of a full second floor space off the back. We're also looking at a low one-story family room addition where you see this existing rear door at the house here. There's currently an existing rough stone patio sitting at the back here, which is rather unusable due to the uneven nature and largeness of the stones that are set into grade there. And again, you can really get a sense of kind of that Italianate architecture that really drives itself around the entire house. And this is that left-hand side, which is where the existing parking court is. So we are proposing, as you face the house, the front of the house from the street, on the left-hand side, we're proposing a two-car garage, really trying to grab the architectural language of that Italianate architecture and bringing it through to the garage itself, while still giving it kind of a carriage house type of feel. We've added a cupola on the top, and then you can see here this low one-story mudroom connector. This actually sits about 4 risers below the actual main first floor elevation of the house. So within the house, you'd step down a couple of levels to that mudroom, and then from the mudroom down into the garage, it's a couple more risers. So, there's really kind of a setback from to really minimize the height of this piece of it. So that sits down below the first floor level. One thing, if we look back to that historic photo of the house, the original house had shutters, pretty much all the way around. This is one thing we're thinking about potentially bringing back to the house, and adding to all of the windows, existing window locations that are there, as well as the new windows that would be added to the second floor addition and the first floor family room addition at the back. Currently, this front porch here is in a great state of disrepair. So part of what we would like to do is really restore this porch back. There's a very tall, highly overgrown hedge that sits right in front of the porch here, which has caused it to rot out pretty significantly, for most of the porch. I'm gonna flip around house here. So one thing we'd like to note is that, as I mentioned before, from the street, you really get kind of a blocked view of the house from all of the tree canopy cover. And even in winter, there's a large 30-inch spruce that sits pretty much directly in front of where the proposed garage addition would be. So year round, there's a large tree that, for the most part would obscure from the street and sidewalk view this garage addition. And as we move around to the left-hand side, you can see the garage in the foreground here. To the right of the screen is the street side. To the left is the rear yard of the house. We're also proposing a 10-foot by 16-foot greenhouse off of the back of the garage. This would be completely set within the gable shape of the garage. So from the street view, you wouldn't be able to see this. This really kind of behind the view of where we're standing looking at this elevation, there's a 2 to 3 story medical office building. So this would really allow the view to be softened from the kitchen, the proposed kitchen in the house, which is directly behind here. So that's completely set back there. You can see the second floor addition raised here. There are 6 windows being added across here. So there's a couple of bedrooms being added, not added, but renovated in this portion of the house. And then you can see the thought to add back the shutters around the house. As we look at the rear, this is that garage on the right-hand side. You can see set within that greenhouse proposal, completely set within the gable of the garage addition. This is that second floor portion where we've raised up the roof again, kind of pulling from the existing architectural language of the house, adding a gable roof here, complete with the Italianate bracket ornamentation that we see at the gables on the existing house, adding in a round window in the gable, again speaking to some of the elements of the existing house, a 3-window unit here at the first floor. This is what will be the renovated kitchen. To sort of minimize the scale of what we're proposing and adding the additional height here. This is a bay in the kitchen that projects out approximately 12 inches with a low copper roof over it. So this helps to really kind of bring down the scale of this portion of the house. And then off to the left here, you can see this piece here is that 1-story family room addition, and directly adjacent to it to the left would be a screened porch. So there would be a low flat seam copper roof that would cover in one continuous piece those 2 elements. Part of it being interior space, the rest of it being exterior space. And as we move around the house, really the primary changes here, you can see the low copper roof coming off of the rear of the house here, covering that screen porch and the family room addition behind it. You can see the 2nd story addition in the back here. And then this in the foreground is the formal living room space below and the master bedroom space above. We are proposing to add 2 windows to this side here to balance out the renovation of space for a master closet and the master bedroom here. There is existing, you can see a skylight here. There is currently 2 skylights on either side of this return gable into the main gable over this portion of the house. We are proposing to remove 3 of them, leaving 1 in the master closet to bring light into that space. So we are proposing to kind of take back some of these existing skylights that are currently on the house. And then sort of a quick pass at the landscape design. We're really trying to be very minimal in our touch here. So, really maintaining the existing driveway location. You can see the garage addition sitting here in plan and creating a parking court around that. We are, if we go back to that historic photo in the beginning, there was kind of historically this long arcing path that connected the sidewalk at the front lawn. So that is a potential to bring that back kind of as a historical element of the house. And then really kind of making the rear yard a little bit more usable and functional to this family room addition and screen porch coming off the back of the house. And then I'm going to just flip through real quickly a couple of inspiration photos. We'd also like to talk about potential colors for the house. So these are a few inspiration images that we have gotten from the homeowners. This is actually 69 Walden Street in Concord. So we're really trying to bring some new life to the house, but also being somewhat minimal and subtle in the color that we add back. So you'll see a kind of a theme here in some of the coloring. That image before at 69 Walden Street, primarily one cream color painted across the house. Here you can see a more subtle yellowy off-white color with a brighter white accent to the trim and window detailing in the eaves. And then also just thinking about potential, subtle changes in color. So this is really, we love to get the commission's feedback and guidance on thoughts to the proposed addition of the garage, primarily thinking about these colors and the potential additions of bringing the shutters back to the house and some of the other restoration elements that we're proposing.
Peter, if you don't mind me jumping in just before you guys provide your feedback, one of the things that I'm curious to hear about is the shutters. When you look at an older Italianate house and the proportions of the windows, a house of that period tended to have single independent windows. They were not doubled up or tripled up. And one of the, I think our efforts to try and be sensitive to the history of the house can also lead to conditions which are sometimes complicated. So if you look at this front facade and you look at the right side, the windows which are well proportioned on the right side bay there, the shutters have a nice proportion to them, and they would actually be functional, and that they would be with pintle hinges and would close and actually be proportionally accurate. Where I'm kind of curious of the board's take of this is when you move around the house and you find windows that are either paired up or tripled up, there's a tendency for shutters to become more ornamental because they don't function properly. And we've spent a bit of time looking at this house, both with shutters on and without shutters. And I must say that, a lot of the times I would advocate for shutters going to a house because they add a certain level of detail and a certain sort of, let's say, historical
texture.
Thank you. But once again, to the point of the windows, I'm kind of curious of the board's position here. I looked at the proposal before this project, the garage that was for Adam and Ashley, and the 2 windows that were shown in that garage, the shutters basically touched one another in the middle of the garage. There was no space between them, and the intent is obviously to add some texture and detail, but there are conditions at which sometimes it works well and sometimes it doesn't. And I think on this front facade on the left side, one can make the case that perhaps the paired windows here that you could get away with it. But when you start to introduce multiple windows, I always find that becomes, a little bit less convincing. So I'm kind of curious of the board's position.
All right.
I'll jump in and say
thank
that
you,
I
gentlemen.
like functional shutters. I'm not keen on shutters that are just hanging off the sides and look decorative. I just don't like that look at all. And matter of fact, one of the comments I'm holding back on in the previous application is I'm not sure I'm in love with those shutters. So I see shutters as functional or looking like they're functional in a historic property. When they're not, I don't think you should have shutters there as sort of trimming on the sides.
Jacob, Michael, were you all through there? I didn't.
Yes, I have.
We are. Thank you for your time.
Okay. No, sure. No. So thank you. I just want to make sure you didn't have any other comments. Well, let me see if, so thank you for, first of all, thank you for such a complete presentation. And again, I know we're all very excited to see this house get some attention and tender loving care. Now, the reality is, as you know, our only purview is the public way. So thank you for showing us the back of the house, but we really, we hope you don't paint it purple with polka dots, but there's not much we have to say about that. But I appreciate the presentation all around. So let's just see what the commission thinks. Dennis, do you want to just continue with comments?
Yeah, this is going to be sort of the opposite of other things we're looking at. The garage to me is like a little bump. I mean, it just doesn't seem to fill the space very well. Was there a site for a carriage house originally on this site someplace? Has that become a house next door, or did the horses stabled off-site originally, or automobiles? What does your research show?
I'm not sure if there was one. So, do you know?
Yeah, my understanding was that the side house where Carrie and John live, right behind the Raver's office, we used to be the carriage house for this property, and it was all those three houses. The house they live in the house behind. There's an our house was all in one contiguous property, and at some point it was divided off entirely. So other than that, on this existing lot, I don't know of any other structure there except there was a trailer in place for many years. So that's all I know.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just I'm not sure I'm in love with the proportions of the garage. I don't like the garage doors. They don't look Victorian to me at all. I mean, they are more colonial revival. And I'm not sure I like the connection. I think the independent garage without a connection to the house is more appropriate to the period. But I'd have to look at it on a site visit and see the screening. You talked about trees there. And so, those are my off the cuff comments, but I'd have to spend more time looking at it.
Yeah, I would go look, Dennis. There's a huge spruce tree in front of that house.
Right. So, but I can't see that here.
Oh, I've got Google Earth open. Sorry. Melinda, thoughts?
I just have a question. What's your acreage on this property now? Because I had heard that you sold some lots off to some of the neighbors or some land off. Is that correct? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so we didn't do the division. The seller, Mr. Hurley, Kevin Hurley, did the subdivision prior to selling it to us.
I see.
And it's currently about 2/3 of an acre, I would say.
Oh, so he sold quite a bit off.
He divided it in half, I think.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that leads my question is that the only place you could place the garage because you have less acreage than you would have had before?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. One of the reasons why that Jake and Mike thought that would be the most ideal spot is actually because of our trying to be sensitive to our neighbors. Where it's located here obstructs them the least. They have an open view to trees and foliage, and putting it any further back basically obstructs their view, their existing view. So that is sort of the thinking behind the placement of that. And Jake can add to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, their adjacent neighbor's house is actually rotated 90 degrees. So their front door looks into the backyard of this property.
Oh, yeah, I see. I'm looking at the Earth map. All right, Melinda, any other comments?
No, I mean, I have never been around this house. I look at this house because I am at the Ravis office. So I'm staring at it a whole lot. And I've never been around the sides. And I have friends who are abutters on the other side of this house. So I'd love to do a site visit, but I would also like to see the garage staked out again so that we have a feel. I look forward to seeing it up close.
And may I ask a quick question? And Heather, you may know this. Is Mill Dam Lane a public way? Or that's the entrance to the back parking area? I don't know if it is or not.
I don't know.
Do you folks know if that's a public way? I don't really know.
Well, we do see a lot of cars driving down that way, so perhaps.
Well, and the only reason I ask is, of course, you know, again, our purview is really anything from the public way, but if that's a private driveway or a semi-private driveway, then anyway, it's a point of clarification more than anything. All right, Abigail, what do you think?
Well, congratulations. This is a really special house. And, you know, it has been sitting there forlorn for so long. So I'm really thrilled that it's going to be brought back to life. My general sense is that there seems to be kind of a consensus that what you've done to the main house, the proposals for the main house, is really quite appropriate. I think it really brings the house back to life. I likewise have concerns about the garage, not so much about location scale, but the connection. Even a low connector, which I know in our guidelines we talk about, is something that we look at really, really carefully. So I think in terms of when you're submitting a formal application, it would probably be worthwhile to spend some time looking at location and options of connected versus not connected, because that might be something that we ask you to pursue anyway. So to be in kind of interest of expediency, if you play around with that a little bit and spend some time, that might end up saving you time in the long run. If we end up saying, we don't like the scalar right here or the connection, things like that. So I would concentrate on that area, because I think the rest of it is, the scale is appropriate. It's appropriate to the time period and style of the house. I don't think there are going to be strong objections to any of that, but as you can tell, we're all kind of focused on the accessory structure. So that would be my only feedback at this point. But once again, congratulations. It's a really special special home, and welcome to the town.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I echo that. Thank you, Abby. Luis, any thoughts you'd like to share? You have to unmute yourself.
The only observation I have is that it is a very beautiful design. I think that the changes to the main house are extremely appropriate. The only thing that concerns me is that I see the garage competing with the house. The garage is also a very accomplished structure on its own, and in a house of that period, I believe that it would be more appropriate to have the adjacent structure to be entirely subservient, sorry to use the word, to the house itself. So maybe a simpler appearance with a less ornamental detail or less architectural detail would be appropriate. It's something that it's very hard to determine, but my initial impression was that this garage is going to be trying to attract attention away from the house, and that is something that I don't believe should happen. Other than that, I think that it's a very good proposal.
Thank you, Luis. Catherine.
I actually think that the garage structure does need the detail to echo the architectural features of the main house. I do agree, though, that I would really like to see some drawings and some plans designed to show a separate structure for the garage without the bridging element. That is sort of feeling not quite right to me. But otherwise, I think the planned changes to the main structure, the main house, look excellent, and I will look forward to the site visit.
Well, there has to be a presentation first. This is just informal.
Yes.
But me too. All right. Well, thank you, folks. So I hope that feedback is helpful. I think what you're hearing is general excitement about the design. I think we appreciate all the attention to the character of the house. We're struggling a little bit with the accessory structure, but willing to see some design ideas, and we'd love to come and help out by walking the site with you. So I'd say we're generally pretty excited here.
Well, thank you all again. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
And welcome to the town again. I'll second or third that welcome, and we
Thank you.
appreciate you giving attention to this lovely home, and hope
you
you
so
enjoy
much.
your time here.
Thank you
You're
very
here.
much.
And so we'll see you soonish. Do you put an application in
Yep.
soon? Okay.
Yep. We are, I think, slated to have our application before the exhibition date.
All right. Terrific.
Thank you,
Well,
everyone.
thank you, folks. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. All right. And I think our last bit of other business here is the Bell Park. This is a discussion to potentially install a drinking water fountain. And somebody's been waiting patiently this whole time. Is that you, Melissa? Have you been waiting in the background there the whole
I
time?
have been. I've been learning a lot, but I think Chris Carmody from the
Hi,
town
Chris.
manager's office is going to lead us through the discussion, and I'm purely here for support and learning.
Okay, well, welcome to both of you. So why don't you tell us, we were just trying to guess what this is going to look like. So tell us what you're thinking.
Well, first, it's good to see everyone again. My name is Chris Carmody. I work in the town manager's office, and I actually helped set you guys up on Zoom. So next time you have to tell someone to mute, just shake your fist and think of the town manager's office and all the other committees that are going through this right now. So thanks for your patience. Thanks also to Heather for putting us on the agenda so quickly. We had a discussion last week, and we just wanted to put this on your radar. We fortunately or unfortunately don't have any renderings or any 3D pictures or pictures to show, but I just wanted to put this on your radar and just talk a little bit about it. So the history is the Rotary Club of Concord submitted an application for a certificate of appropriateness on October 15th, 2015. The application pertained to the expansion and improvement of the existing Veterans Memorial Site at Monument Square located at 12 Main Street. The primary purpose of the project was to provide a home for the Belle from the USS Concord, a Navy cruiser that was retired in 1946. HDC conducted a hearing on the Rotary Club's application on December 3rd, 2015, and continued the hearing over 3 subsequent dates in 2016. The HDC approved the application on February 11th, 2016, and the park improvements and bell installation were completed on November 10th, and the town held a dedication ceremony on Veterans Day the next day. The original plan included a granite water fountain. After some discussion, the granite fountain was not deemed ADA compliant and it was never installed. Public Works has identified a fountain that is ADA compliant, and the Rotary Club has kindly offered to contribute funds to bring this project to completion. At this point, we're not asking for any action by HDC. We do plan on submitting the application soon, including pictures of the location and the fountains, and we'll work with Heather to prepare that. So, yeah, we don't want to take too much of your time.
No, that's all right, Chris. Is this something similar to the one that's across from the depot conceptually on Thoreau Street? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Great. I'm not familiar with that.
So that one is it's sort of a granite post and it has stainless bowls or something. I don't have a photograph exactly of it.
Yeah, so I think the fountain that we're envisioning is similar to the one that Heather is showing. right now. So it's the green colored one, but it'll be gray, and there won't be any dog bowl.
All right.
And that, yeah, as I said, that is ADA compliant.
All right, well, let me see any questions from commissioners. Dennis?
No, I mean, I mentioned to Heather that I thought this thing had already been approved, and now I understand why it didn't go forward. Is it going in the same location as the other one? So
Yes.
it's just, all it is a more compliant fountain, so I don't have any problem with it.
All right, Melinda, any thoughts? No, sorry, I looked away for a moment. Abigail?
I mean, it's pretty unattractive, but I guess it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Where exactly is it supposed to go in the park? I hope it's in like an inconspicuous spot. Great.
It is.
And it'll be gray.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And I take back what I said, Chris. I'm looking at the one on Thoreau Street. It's exactly the same kind of design. It has a dog bowl, but it's a green post with a bottle.
And it's got a water fill and the,
right, bottle filler at
like,
the
is
top.
anyone going to drink out of a water fountain ever again? I feel like that's
No, it's it does have a bowl.
not something we're ever going to do.
That's for tall dogs, actually.
Yeah, tall dogs. Okay. Okay.
Luis?
I have no comments. That is a very nice place in Concord. I had lunch there yesterday. It was very nice to stay there. So water will be good.
Okay, and I think we lost Catherine. But I think that's all of us. So I guess, I think we look forward to an application. I think we need to see the location and the color and the configuration. I'll make sure we try to make it as harmonious as we can over there. But thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
I think that's it, right?
That's it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in a
Appreciate it.
future meeting.
Yeah.
Thanks for waiting all that time just to present.
And Heather, thank you for holding the line on the our public hearing policy for town meeting. Abby, I know you can't stand it, but there's 60 committees, so we're trying to push through those public hearings as fast as possible.
No, we got to do it, man. All right. Well, thank you all. The last bits of other business we have are there's no update on Jenny Dugan Acres Historic District. We are proceeding, as you know, we're Article 32 at town meeting. If you've looked at your warrant, there's a hearing, a planning board hearing for public comment. I believe we're Article 32. If you'd like to come and see if there are any if there's any outrage being generated, yes, we're Article 32. The meeting is May 13th, planning board. So I'll be there if you're welcome to join us. Jenny Dugan, I think, is a little bit on hold at the moment, only because we're distracted, frankly, with town meeting. So I haven't really been doing anything on that. So any questions about those?
We have minutes. We have one set of minutes to approve.
Yes. Oh, hi, Catherine. We lost you for a second. No, that's okay. But I thought we're dropping like flies. We do have some minutes, I think, although Nia's not here and she is our clerk. So I don't know if did she get you any comments, Heather? Do we have any up on the website?
Yeah, there's March 18th is on the website.
March 18th. Has anyone had a chance to look at those? Or I should say, has everyone had a chance to look at those?
I look at them, I don't find any problem, but I'm not near.
Can we approve them contingent on Nia taking one last look as our clerk, Heather?
I move we approve the minutes from 3/18, contingent that board member Commissioner Nia Glenn reviews them.
All right, second, anybody? All in favor? You can raise your hands. We're like post time here. Everybody says aye, Heather. You got all ayes. The ayes have it. And that's all I had. Heather, any last minute Charlotte comments? Or is she asleep?
She's asleep. Yep.
Okay. And you missed meeting Charlotte this morning at our meeting. That's all right. All right, well, listen, thank you all for hanging in there. We're only a little bit over 9 o'clock, but that was better than expected. Lots going on all of a sudden. It's spring. Construction season's soon to come. All right, well, nice to see you all, and thank you again for indulging us with that May 6th meeting. I think it just felt fairer to the homeowner to try to do that. So that's it. Move to adjourn.
Don't take any ibuprofen.
What's that? Ibuprofen?
Don't take any ibuprofen because it will inhibit your immune response.
Okay, I'm not gonna take anything. I had a glass of wine.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
All right, good night all, be well.
Good
See you soon.
Well, everyone, good
See
night.
you soon, good night.